Okay, so I'm not too sure of the renovations, but they continue. Lots has happened. It's been a few days. The builder had a week off, he was on holiday, but the plasterer has been. So we have 2 plastered rooms, fully plastered. So these are about to be painted. My weekend job. Miscoat, we're going to miscoat with, it's a contact mat, Armstead I think is the name. We're going to dilute that down 30% with water for the miscoat so it will stick to the plaster, because the plaster is super dry. It just absorbs straight away. So I'm going to denib, like bits like this. I'm just going to denib quickly and just make sure we kind of get those off. But overall, the room is looking really, really good. We are keeping these windows for now, these old windows. So what we're going to do is just paint this white for now, because these bay windows are 2,300 per window and we've got 2 to do, so a bit of a killer there. So yeah, it's all looking good, really happy with the finish. As I said, just denib any little splats and bits. And then what I'm going to do is do the miscoat. The miscoat will be done, make everything sort of white-ish, and at that point I should be able to see any imperfections, and I'll sand any imperfections at that point. And then I'll be able to do the 2 top coats, which we'll use. I'm going to use a Leyland hard wearing. But yeah, everything's going all right. This room has been boarded, so this is the next room to be plastered, which should be done relatively soon. And in here, this is going to be an ensuite. So phase 2, we've broken everything down into phases. So phase 1 is nearly complete. We've got 5 more days of the builder's time. We've got a few things to do, some things to do with the drainage and stuff, and the drain pipes at the rear, some other bits. But yeah, we're in a good place, getting rooms plastered and ready to go. About 30, it's got to be about 40 something days in. We're happy with, obviously we've got the sockets, so they'll all be, I'm assuming the plasterer just goes around it all to make it nice and neat and easier for them, and then we just bash it out basically. So that's where we're at with that. I'm just going to paint all around it and over it. But yeah, overall happy with the finish on the plaster. To give some context, this room, which is 3 point something meters, we've got the bay window as well, and down there is around 4 meters from the bay, and we've got about 3 meters wide, and this room was it was 1,100 for this room and the office as well. So this room, and all of it had a mesh. So the first coat had a mesh, so I'll show you the mesh. The mesh is this is a mesh, so that goes onto the wall and it's all stapled on the wall everywhere. Then the first coat of plaster is to get that mesh sort of covered, and then they done a second coat everywhere as well. So it wasn't simple, this wasn't simple plasterboard walls. These were all cracked walls, old original walls, especially this one. This is was the old exterior wall before the extension. Had a bow in it here, so it was pushed out here. So they've had to correct a lot of lumps and bumps and imperfections. I think they've done a good job, to be honest, so I'm happy. But yeah, it wasn't a simple, nice plasterboarded room, bam, 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 bish, bash, bosh. I had to come in and do a lot of stuff. So yeah, that's all gone on, all that mesh. So yeah, I think it's a good price, a price we were happy with looking online, So £1,100 for this room, which is what, 2.5 meters, 3 meters by 2 wide, roughly. Then this one, which is 4 meters by 3 meters, basically 4 and a bit by just under 3 meters. Yeah, and it's about 5 days work. 2 of them come around and work together, much more efficient together. So yeah, it took some doing, ceilings, and yeah, and we use them because they're the builder's friend. So that's one of our biggest issues or things to consider, is using people we actually can trust. And around here, there's lots going on. We'll pay for people we trust and know. And the builder's, he's 55, he's got all kinds of friends in his little community, so we just use them basically. We trust them to do a good job, and he almost keeps an eye on them as well, and makes sure, because he's a friend. We used to live next door to the builder, so I feel like he looks after us a bit. So that's where we're at, plastering. The next time you see this room or one of the rooms will be mist-coated. We're going to do the ceilings white. We're not sure on walls yet, so thinking to do just an off-white on the walls, like a warm. I don't like the magnolia. This is very common in the UK, this magnolia, and yeah, it just gives me, you know, vibes of we just had to chuck something on. But it does make the house relatively like warm feeling. So we're thinking like a nice off-white, just an off-white colour. We'll see. I'm not too sure. In our old house, we used polished pebble Dulux, which was like a grey, which we really liked. But it does have a colder sort of feel. And we had a picture rail in the old house, so you know, we had white above, and it all just tied in, but I'm not sure here, so we shall see. I'll keep you updated on the old colour palette. Yeah, still lots to do. Doorway to be, this wall would be plastered as well. Anywhere, that's one thing probably to speak about. Anywhere where we've had like, there was a doorway here, so we've got plasterboard. We're going to plaster the whole lot. The plasterer recommended, you know, you can try and patch it and do it, but in the end you'll see the line. And we knew that because here there was an old chimney and they had just patched that chimney and it cracked and you could see it. It doesn't matter how hard you try and paint and cover it, you could see it. So yeah, anywhere like that we're going to do. Obviously here this will all be plastered. The ceiling got boarded because that was painted a bit of a mess and I put my foot through the ceiling here. First and only accident, touch wood. So yeah, that's where we're at. Obviously this will all be filled with the bonding coat, which is the bonding coat here, and then the multi-finish is what we're using for the plaster. So yeah, good progress overall. We're happy, lots to crack on. This is what we were working with, you know, on the walls. We had a picture rail that was in the other rooms that have been plastered as well. Picture rails, we had new stuff chased like this. We had all the sockets chased as well. There's sockets there, so they all had chase holes underneath, you know, so the walls were not pretty. If you go back and watch previous episodes, probably, you know, day 10 or so, or wherever, you'll start to see these walls get stripped and just how bad they were, big cracks. But to see it like this, obviously, is amazing for us because it's really come along a long way from where it was when we first started. So yeah, happy, plastering started. That's the cost of the plastering. We're on to paint costs now as well. They're starting to come out. So we haven't bought anything yet, but I'll let you know when we buy all the paints and the cost of those. So, oh, one more thing. So £1,100 for these two rooms, and this room they've quoted £680 to. They're going to need a bit more time probably to do that, but they're going to charge that separately. To sort of fill and do all the bonding coats, patch everything, patch all here, patch here. Said that'll take them a few hours. So probably about £750 for this room in this state with all this patching, and all the skirting boards need bonding underneath as well. That's the sort of prices we're working with, and we're South East London. So yeah, if you're looking for plasterers, let me know and I can pass on the details. I'll see you in the next one.